Hello, thanks for watching part 4 of this instructional video series for the Scalextric Advanced Digital 6-Car Powerbase. This time, we'll be learning how to use the yellow flag and start-end power options. With them, we can make our racing experience even more realistic. Since these are advanced features, we need to make sure the Powerbase is in professional mode. Watch the screen during startup and switch to Pro if it's still in basic mode. Press the down arrow during free practice mode to access the menus, then left or right to change to the options you want to configure. Let's start with yellow flag options. Press the down arrow to access those options. Press left or right to scroll between Effect, Delay, and Lap Time. Effect is where we choose what effect a yellow flag activation will have on the car still racing. Press down again, then left or right to choose between Off, which means the feature is not used, half speed, where cars will be limited to half power during the yellow flag, or pause, which means the race will pause and all cars will be stopped during the yellow flag. For this example, we'll choose half speed, which is more realistic and doesn't completely stop the race every time someone comes off. Press the Enter button to save your chosen setting. The next option in yellow flag mode is the delay option. This is the delay between when a racer who crashes presses their brake button and when the yellow flag mode officially engages. If you're using the pause effect, a suitable delay should be chosen so that the crasher is penalized for crashing and other racers are rewarded for staying on the track. Enough time to gain half a lap should be plenty. For example, if my track has an average lap of 8 seconds, then a 4-second delay would be a great deterrent for careless racers. If you're using the half-speed effect, then a delay of almost nothing is fine, because the other racers will still be able to gain ground while the crasher is being put back on. Press down, then use the left or right arrows to change the time to anything between 0.0 and 25.4 seconds. You can press and hold the button to change the numbers quickly. Press the Enter button when you have chosen the delay time you want to use. Finally, we have the lap time option. Lap time lets you tell the Powerbase what the lowest reasonable lap time is for your track. Setting this helps prevent incorrect lap times or extra laps for those who come off and are put back on right before the lap counter track. Press the down arrow, then the left or right arrows, holding them to change quickly to choose your minimum lap time. Again, you can set it to anything from 0.0 to 25.4 seconds. 1/2 to 1 second less than the fastest lap time you've ever done is a good idea. But keep an eye on your lap times as you get better, or when you get a faster car, and adjust the lap time setting accordingly. Press the Enter button to save the chosen lap time. Now that the yellow flag mode is enabled, the brake buttons for all controllers will activate a yellow flag. In this situation, it's best to treat the brake button on the controller as a yellow flag button, otherwise known as a track call button, and not as a brake button. When someone crashes, they should press the large button on their controller immediately. With no delay, the Powerbase will make a loud beep immediately. With a delay time set, there will be a short beep when the crasher presses his brake button, and then a loud beep at the end of the delay timer, at which time the effect of the yellow flag will take place, either by stopping or slowing the remaining cars. A pause effect is just like pausing the race by pressing the start button on the Powerbase. All cars are stopped, and the race timer is stopped, and the lights near the start button on the Powerbase switch from green to red. A half-speed effect differs in that the cars are not stopped, but limited to 50% power, and the green and red lights flash alternately on the Powerbase. To exit the yellow flag mode, or if the race is paused for any other reason, press the start button. The race resumes immediately after the start button is pressed. The other set of options to enhance our races are the start-end options. If you ran a race, press the Enter button to clear out the race standings, or press the up arrow button until you're back to pre-race mode. Then press the down arrow, and then the left or right arrows until the screen says ST.END at the top. That stands for Start-End Options. Press the down arrow to get into them, then left or right to see Power Start, Power End, False Start, At End, Prevent Pit, and Potential Pit options. First up is the Power Start option. Press the down arrow, then left or right to choose no or yes. If you want cars to have power during the race start countdown, choose yes. Pace cars will take off as soon as the countdown starts though, so if you like to use pace cars, it's best to leave this set to no. With power start set to no and false start disabled, everyone can hold their triggers at full during the countdown and get a good start. Remember to press the enter button to save the choice you want to use. Next up is the power end option. This lets us choose what level of power cars have after a race has completed. Press down, then left or right to choose from none to make cars stop dead when the race ends, half so that they are limited to 50% power, or full so that they can drive around at full speed. As always, press the enter button to save your setting. Now we have the false start setting. False start lets us add a penalty to those who jump the start by pulling their throttle trigger before the countdown ends. This works whether or not there is power at race start and can be used with pace cars. With pace cars though, it's best to set power start to no. Press down, then use the left or right arrows to choose between no and yes. If you choose yes, you can press enter or the down arrow to set up the penalty. The penalty can be between 0 and 25 seconds, which is added to the total race time for the racer that triggers a false start. Press enter to set the penalty time you want. You can then press right to get to the at end option. Press down, then left or right to choose after leader, which means a lap limited race will end as soon as the leader finishes all the laps and all the other cars cross the finish line. All lap means that the race only ends after all racers have completed all the laps. Cars that completed their laps will not count additional laps as the other cars finished their laps. Remember to press enter to save the setting you want. The last two options, PR pit and PO pit, are specifically for pace cars with lane changing enabled to allow as much lane changing as possible without letting them enter the pit lane. The PR pit option, which I call prevent pit, lets you set a number of seconds after the pace car crosses the line during which the pace car cannot change lanes. This is useful for when your pit lane is shortly after your start-finish line. Press the down arrow, then left or right to set the time from 0 to 50.8 seconds in 0.2 second increments, pressing enter when the desired time is shown. The PO pit option, which I call potential pit, is a time from 0 to 254 seconds after crossing the power base track during which the pace cars can change lanes. After that time is over, the pace car cannot change lanes until the timer is reset for that car by crossing the power base again. The potential pit timer is great for a track that has the pit lane before the power base, effectively putting the pit entry near the end of the lap. Set the PO pit time to how long it takes a pace car to complete your circuit up to where the pit lane entrance is. You want to make sure that the time you set is less than the time it takes for the pace car to arrive at the pit entrance. Press the down arrow, then left or right, holding to change quickly, to set your PO pit time. Press the enter button to save the time you choose. Both the prevent pit and potential pit options will probably need some testing to get perfect. It's a good idea to do this while 1 or 2 pace cars are running around by themselves, and not during a race. It's also possible to design your layout such that a pace car set to always change lanes will always miss the pit lane, so be sure to experiment with your layout as well. It's up to you how to make use of all these options. There's no right way or wrong way to play as long as you're having fun. Next time, we'll cover the other things, such as controller calibration and using the base unit without the display. Thanks for watching, and happy racing!